Hallo zusammen. Ich glaube, man kann, nicht mehr Pech haben mit einer Online-Konferenz, zumindest mit der Technik. Eine super tolle Konferenz. Alle Leute, die so in meinem Forschungsbereich zum Thema Laktatbildungsrate sind da. Die Bühne ist frei. Wir haben mehrfach gecheckt, ob alles läuft. Und Microsoft Teams möchte einfach nicht, dass ich dabei bin, so gefühlt. Also echt, ich hatte sowas echt noch nie. Ich bin erst ganz oft rausgeschmissen worden, einfach so. Konnte mich dann nicht mehr einwählen. Als ich mich dann einwählen konnte, konnte ich nichts teilen. Dann konnte ich mich einwählen, dann konnte ich aber nichts hören. Dann habe ich mich mit meinem Tablet eingewählt, da konnte ich was hören, aber so den Sound von vor 20 Sekunden auch nicht so gut, um mit Leuten zu kommunizieren. Aber irgendwann hat es dann geklappt. Da muss ich jetzt erstmal ein bisschen drauf klarkommen, mich ein bisschen bewegen. Ciao. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to Michael and Sarah for organizing the event. I know that this can be quite a lot of struggle, and in the last couple of years, I had the delightful opportunity to host and organize some German workshops together with Hermann Heck. Greetings to Anne Modenweg. And my name is Oliver Quittmann. I'm affiliated at the German Sport University Cologne. And since I did quite a lot of review activities concerning the articles around maximum lactate accumulation rate, I had to smile a couple of times because several of my own ideas about how to develop this parameter were actually confirmed by you. So that's a great thing. But since I could not upload the abstract right away, you will find a QR code on the right-hand side, and you can scan it in order to download the abstract. I was not in time for this abstract due to a certain reason, because I did not know that the other groups, greetings and congrats to the other groups, Jamie and colleagues, Henning and colleagues, to successfully accept the review articles. I'm still under review, so I'm still waiting for the acceptance letter. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks and months, I can prepare a revision. So with everything I say, if there are papers missing that you find interesting or that I need to add, I have still the chance to do this in the revisions. Before I start, I have to mention that our group, unfortunate, or I have to apologize for introducing another type of abbreviation, so it will be interesting to discuss. So we introduced ＣLamax, and the reason is the following. We believe that V, especially in terms of exercise science, represents velocity. And since there is a change in concentration, we believe that the rate of change of concentration, and in several author guidelines, C represents concentration, aside from the speed of light, obviously. But this is why I use this type of abbreviation in the slides to come. So within my review article, I summarized the findings of 48 articles, and you can see all these different articles here. Again, Jamie, I had to laugh because I also did an analysis on the affiliations, and the German affiliation distribution changed from over 90% to less than 60%, I think, which is a great thing that everything becomes more internationally recognized. So thanks again for opening the floor for international collaboration. I will just pick the articles that focused on reliability on one hand side and specificity, with some articles doing both. So there are a total of 18 articles, and I want to highlight their key findings in the next minutes. Since reliability has been mentioned by several colleagues, I will just briefly talk about reliability, but it has to be mentioned that it has already been assessed in several different sports. And if we take a look at the ICCs, we almost in all cases see reliability demonstrating good to excellent reproducibility values. I just want to highlight a few aspects that might be interesting to see when does reliability lack, so that we can learn from it and build upon it and try to improve it in the months and years to come. So a very interesting and very extensive study of Corinna Wawa and colleagues, if you are listening, greetings. She did, and her group obviously, did studies in running where they compared non-motorized treadmill data from running on the track, and it was found that non-motorized treadmill data was less significant than the track data. And interestingly, there were similar between a fixed duration in comparison to a fixed distance that my group used. Interestingly, Harnisch and colleagues found a lower, or one of the more moderate reliability, which might be due to several reasons. One could be the measuring side. They used a portable analyzer on the fingertip, which might be more prone to sweat contamination. And it could be that the frequency of measurements post-exercise, there were 2 minutes, it was less reliable. Interestingly, a Japanese group also used a portable analyzer, but they determined an excellent reliability. And this can be quite interesting for practical terms, because it demonstrates that if you do a double determination, so every single collection, they used a double collection or double assessment. And this is a way probably where you can improve the normally the accuracy is about 0.4, which is quite high, so a lot of deviation in it, but measuring on the fingertip and measuring with a portable analyzer might be not as effective. So in conclusion, as already mentioned, as a summary, we find good to excellent reliability in most of the previous works and the previous modalities that have been assessed. If we come now to the topic of specificity, I cover this in 2 bits. One is the comparison of different modalities, and one is the comparison of females and males, even though they are more than just 2 sexes. But several studies reported differences, and I will show you these in the next minutes. So the 6 studies that I personally found that compared these different modalities found that cycling attained higher values in comparison to isokinetic strength testing, as Nico already mentioned. On the track, we find slightly higher values for ċLamax compared to non-motorized treadmill. And in our group, we did a study where we compared cycling against hand cycling and running. And we found that hand cycling was lower than cycling and running was higher than conventional cycling in competitive triathletes. In both of these studies, we did not find any correlation between the 2 modalities. So again, it seems to be highly specific. And this specificity was also found in a single case study where we just qualitatively found that wheelchair racing was lower than hand cycling than swimming, even though we should have standardized it for duration as well. Just recently, Benedikt and colleagues, the group of Billy Sperlich, found that even within a single exercise mode, you can find differences. So on-water kayaking was found to be higher compared to ergometer kayaking. So in conclusion, we see that ČLamax, or maximum lactate accumulation rate, is highly specific to exercise modality, which can be due to different types of recruitments, the active muscle mass, passive lactate distribution, space, perfusion as well, and of course muscle fiber typology, which can be assessed in future studies to come. There are also 7 studies that compared females and males, and I want to give you just a slide overview of these studies. So you can see the average values, the sample sizes, and also the effect sizes. And most of the time we find that females demonstrate lower values compared to males, usually in the realm of 0.1 millimoles per liter per second. But there are some studies that find even higher differences. For example, the just mentioned a study in kayaking, in canoe polo players. We have a very, very high difference between females and males. And also in rowing, we find a typically high difference. So we tend to see even higher differences in higher glycolytic sports, or at least in sports that are more due to or make more use of the upper body. Similarly, we find slightly higher deviations between females and males in shorter distances and when taking a look at adolescents. So there is a tendency towards higher differences, even in these type of events, but still females and males that are compared in these studies demonstrate even more differences. So maybe in the future we have to match them for at least other values. So if they are similar in VO2 max or training status, it's probably better to compare them. But for now, we see that females tend to have lower values compared to males that are more pronounced in upper body sports. So if we agree on certain guidelines of, similar to VO2 max, what is a typical low value and a high value, it might be necessary to find sex-specific guidelines and borders. So in conclusion, just to summarize the different aspects, we see that reliability is usually good to excellent in various different sports. We also see that it is highly specific. So in certain sports, it's necessary to use a modality that is closest to the one that is of interest. And we see differences in females and males that should be assessed even more. In my review, I summarized all the participants in all of the studies, and females were like less than 21% of the whole sample size. So recently, there have been studies that had an equal distribution of females and males, or even just females. So I encourage every group to also include females or to exclusively take a look at female athletes. And with that, I like to close my presentation. And again, if you want to have the abstract, you can scan the QR code. And if you are interested in the slides, or if you want to get in contact, feel free to send me an email. Thanks for your attention.